One, two. Just a one, two. 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 One, two.
Mic check. Good morning, everybody. Oh my God, that's too dull now.
Right?
I was going to tell everybody to stand up. Oh. Good morning, everybody. I don't see like that one. You people can do better than this. For the last time, if you don't want to stand up. Good morning, everybody.
Now that's what we're talking about. Okay, so good morning, everybody. So welcome to the Babcock University Association of Medical Students Clinical and Scientific Conference. Clap now. Exactly. This is the first of its kind to ever be done in the history of Buams. So I think that that's something to be proud of. So can we give another round of applause to the organizers? Thank you. All right. So we're going to kick off this session with an opening prayer because whatever is worth starting well. I won't be starting in the name of God. So please may we all rise as we take the opening prayer for this session. I would be inviting Miss Gianna to come take the opening prayer at this moment.
Let's bow our heads as we pray. Our dear Father in heaven, we thank you for today. We thank you that we're gathered here in good health to witness this great conference. We pray that each one of us is blessed by it and everything we want to achieve by coming here may be achieved. We pray that it's a successful one and a smooth one. And may all glory be to your name. For in Jesus' name I've prayed. Amen.
Thank you very much, Yana. All right, for the next agenda of this program, we will be taking the national anthem, the national pledge, and the Babcock University anthem. So for that, I would like everybody to please be on their feet for the last time. So we'll be taking the national anthem now. Hope you still remember the national anthem. National pledge now. Let's go. Nigeria, my country, the faithful here and honest, serve and with all my heart. Defend our unity, hold up and glory, so help me God. Thank you. For the Babcock anthem. Can we have a round of applause once again?
All right, so you may all be seated. All right, so once again, would like to thank everyone once again for taking out their time to register, to come for this conference and be a part of something new, something innovative, and something well. So right now, we're going to be inviting Ms. Chidema on stage to take the brief recap of the events that we had yesterday. Oh, sorry, so Mr. Akinola Emmanuel will then now be taking the brief recap. My apologies. Ovation. May we appreciate the presence of the Provost of the Benjamin Carson College of Health and Medical Sciences, Professor Adeola Fawotade. Thank you so much, ma'am, for gracing us with your presence today.
Okay. We can all be seated, please. And directly as representative of the Vice Chancellor of Babcock University, we are honored to have in our midst Professor Oludele Awodele. He's the man in charge of academic planning in Babcock University. Thank you very much, sir.
And lastly, and most certainly not the least, a guest of honor that all of us here are familiar with, a man that is a father to us, has been a mentor to us.
Now.
Please keep clapping, no, this is not small. Oh. You see him in the HOKC space, you have a problem, it's his office you are running to first. You see him in the clinics, you see him in the researching space, you see him in the teaching space. This is a professor, a distinguished physician, an academic, a researcher, a pastor. This same auditorium. This is not a man of one talent, but this is a jack of all trades and a master of all.
Everything.
So please, with another standing ovation, can we give welcome to Professor John Obafemi Shotunsa. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence today. We may be seated. All right, so we'll be moving on to the next segment of our program today, and we're going to be taking the opening address by our very own Provost of the Benjamin Carson College of Health and Medical Sciences, Professor Adeola Fawotade.
Please, a round of applause once again.
the President Vice Chancellor of Babcock University, ably represented by the AVP, Academic Planning, Professor Oludele Awodele, who is not just an academic leader in Babcock, but one of our distinguished parents. Distinguished members of the university management, deans and heads of department, esteemed faculty and mentors, our invited speakers, and most importantly, our guest speaker, Professor John Obafemi Shotusa, leaders of the Babcock University Association of Medical Students, and more importantly, our brilliant medical students. Good morning. It is with immense pride and a deep sense of optimism that I welcome you all to this student-led conference organized by the Babcock University Association of Medical Students. And I emphasize the word student-led. Let me begin by congratulating the organizing committee for their vision, courage, and commitment to professional development. Organizing a conference of this nature demonstrates leadership, intellectual curiosity, and a desire to shape the future of medicine. Your chosen theme, the United Front, advancing clinical skills and research in the modern medical era, could not be more timely. Where you need to ask questions, you need to challenge assumptions, and you need to seek mentors. Third, you need to build networks and collaboration. Medicine is stronger when we work together. Support your colleagues and cultivate partnerships. Those kind of partnerships that will outlast even your days of the medical school. I believe that this conference will not just serve as a series of lectures, but will serve as a launch pad for ideas, partnerships, and inspiration that will ignite in you a deeper commitment to excellence in clinical practice and a passion for discovery through research. Finally, I wish to commend the Buams leadership and the conference LOC for the excellent initiative and the deep commitment that battered this conference. And I hope that even as this is the first, it will not be the last. Your dedication reflects the values that this university stands for and keys into the grace agenda of the new chapter. I look forward to the rich discussions, the insightful presentations, and the meaningful collaborations that will emerge from this gathering. Together, let us continue to build a united front in research and clinical practice as we transform our world positively. My Vice President, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and God bless you.
Please, can we keep the claps going until she gets to her seats? That was such a power-packed and informative session. Thank you so much, Ma. God bless you, Ma. So some of the key takeaways, if we were paying attention to that power-packed speech, she gave us 3 major tips. 1, master your clinical skills. They will take you far. 2, embrace research and innovation, because the places that we are today came because somebody sat and thought, what can I do different? So the question to all of us sat here is, what can we do different? What conversations can we contribute to bring about innovative ideas? And then lastly, embrace network, build community. Like she said, in the healthcare space, we are not silos. Everything works as a result of different facets coming together to make a collective outcome. So you see within MedLab, within biochemistry, anatomy, physiology, medicine, nursing, public health, nutrition and dietetics, all these different departments independently are great, but collectively they are power. So if you want to be power, always learn to network. So I hope, aside from those 3 things, we also took more. And like she said, this is the first of its kind to ever happen in the history of Buams, and this most definitely should not be the last. So when they're bringing CSC Phase 2, people should register. Just think of what you were able to get now, and just think of how much more you can get once there's more improvements put into the system. So please, once again, let's give a round of applause for our provost.
Thank you very much, Udoka. So next up stage, representing the Vice Chancellor of Babcock University, it is my great pleasure to warmly welcome our distinguished guest, Professor Oludele Awodele, the Associate Vice President of Academic Planning at Babcock University, a renowned professor of computer science and artificial intelligence. Please give him a huge round of applause.
Thank you very much. Let me start by appreciating the leadership of the college, starting from the provost, Professor Adeola Fowotade. And I'm happy to see the emeritus provost, the immediate past provost of this college, Professor John Obafemi Shotunsan. The deans, I don't know if they are here, faculty members, our esteemed guests, respected medical students of this great college. Good morning to you all. On behalf of the President, Vice Chancellor of Babcock University, it gives me great pleasure to stand before you with the mandate of the university administration, sending their greetings and warm commendation to the organizer of this important conference. I must especially applaud the students for taking this initiative to organize a platform that promotes intellectual engagement, professional development, and collaboration. Let me confess, I never knew that medical students can create this kind of academic exercise, because I believe you do a lot of readings and it's book. But for you to be able to put this together, please let's, applaud ourselves. One thing that is very unique is the theme of this conference, a unified front, advancing clinical skills and research in modern medical era. It's in keeping with the research-driven focus of the current university administration. Medicine today demands more than knowledge alone. It requires clinicians who are skilled, researchers who are innovative and professional, who are willing to work together across disciplines to solve complex health problems. The future of healthcare lies in the integration of clinical excellence with strong research capability. Clinical skill enable you to care for patients with competence, while research empowers you to question, discover, and improve systems in which care is delivered. When all these forces work together, medicine truly advances. I stand to encourage you today, dear students, to embrace this unified approach, cultivate curiosity, develop strong clinical competence, engage in meaningful research. Most importantly, collaborate with one another, share knowledge, because the greatest medical breakthroughs often come from teamwork and share ideas. As a university, Babcock remains fully committed to providing an environment that nurtures innovation, ethical practice, and academic excellence. We are proud of the leadership shown by our medical students and confident that many of you will go on to shape the future of healthcare in Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large. Once again, I commend the college leadership and the organizers, wishing you a very productive conference filled with learning, networking, and inspiration. Thank you, and God bless.
Once again, please let's give him a very huge round of applause. Just a brief recap for some of us that were not listening or those who stepped out to use the restroom. He mentioned something that hit me. He said, teamwork, collaboration. The greatest ideas in medicine were found between those who decided to put their heads together and think. So please, as you walk out of the walls of this, should I say, hall today, please collaborate, network. And I can assure you, in the next 5-10 years, you'll be bigger than your mind has ever dreamed. Thank you very much again, sir.
So, all right, we're now going to move to the next phase of our event, which is the keynote speech. And I'm going to be giving us a really, really brief but power-packed introduction of our keynote speaker. So our keynote speaker today is a distinguished Nigerian physician, academic, researcher, and mentor with decades of experience. Sorry, ma'am. All right. So I'll start by inviting him up to the stage to come and stand.
Round of
applause. So clap the loudest you've ever clapped. Please let us introduce.
Standing ovation.
In fact, come on. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you, sir. So, Professor John Obafemi Sotunsa, like I said, is a distinguished Nigerian physician, academic, researcher, and mentor with decades of experience. Hope we know a decade is 10 years. So when we're saying decades, we're multiplying that. Exactly. In clinical medicine, medical education, and health research, he currently serves as a professor of obstetrics and gynecology and is widely recognized for his contributions to maternal health, clinical training, and interdisciplinary medical scholarship. Professor Sotunsa holds a fellowship of the West African College of Surgeons in obstetrics and gynecology, demonstrating his commitment to multidisciplinary knowledge and leadership in healthcare. He also earned a Master's of Public Health from Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye. He has a Master of Business Administration from Ladoke Akintola University of Technology of Ogbomoso, and then a PhD in Psychiatry from Stellenbosch University, South Africa.
Now, his current work on the use of platelet-rich plasma for ovarian rejuvenation will soon earn him another PhD. Now, from University of Calabar, this particular work is a rare combination of qualifications. I mean, it enables him to approach healthcare from clinical, public health, mental, and health system perspectives. And throughout his career, Professor Sotunsa has played key roles in clinical practice, academic leadership, and research development, mentoring numerous medical students, residents, and early career researchers. His work emphasized the integration of clinical excellence, evidence-based medicine, and research innovation in improving healthcare outcomes, particularly within the African context.
His mentorship made medical students research and also engage scholars in conferences in Mombasa, Kenya, Accra, Ghana. So various cities in Nigeria as well, and also in the United States of America. As a passionate advocate for capacity building in medical education, Professor Sotunsa has been actively involved in initiatives that strengthen clinical skills training, research culture, and also professional development among young medical students and young medical professionals. So his academic and professional engagements span the clinicals in obstetrics and gynecology, span mental health research, public health systems, and even healthcare leadership. This agenda further enhances his role as a Secretary General of the Consortium of the New Sub-Saharan African Medical School, CONSAMS. So with all due respect, please, can we once again give a round of applause for our speaker of today, Professor John Obafemi Sotunsa.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here on this podium with Buams once again. My Vice Chancellor, sir, ably represented by Professor Awodele, my Provost, and great Buams, articulate Buams, Ever conscious Buams? Great, great Buams. Amen. Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone in here and also some of our special guests that are still on the way. It's a great opportunity for me to be here to witness this first clinical skills and research workshop. As you know, this has been a very, very passionate thing for me. Provost, I do tell them if you don't have a publication, you won't be inducted. I don't know if they've reported me to you. That is very, very important because the issue of research moves you to a different pedestal, or else we retain the position of being a consumer nation. Almost everything we are getting from somewhere. But we also have the potential to develop and to give others something to appreciate. Look at the likes of Professor Woga in physiotherapy that gave us the Hungarian principle that helped those who have spinal injury. And we have many more. You get it? We have many more. And before me, I see great men and women that will make the difference. Nigeria cannot continue to be the headquarters of poverty as long as we make the difference. When you look at the ranking of nations, it's a factor of your GDP. So if you don't produce anything, you are just borrowing, you continue. But by God's grace, as we say here in Babcock, failure is not an option. And by God's grace, we will achieve greater heights. The United Front, Advanced Clinical Skills and Research in Modern Era. This is a very, very, very wonderful team. United Front, as the provost have made. I remember when we started promoting research and presentation among the students, it looks like a Herculean task, but it's not. Last year, we have 14 presentations at Technical University of Mombasa, and someone in 300 level got the award of the best presentation. You get it? So turn to your neighbor and say, you can do it. You can do it. You can. The greatness is in you. And earlier this year, we had some presentation, late last year and this year, we had some presentation with the public health physician, and we had 4 groups presenting. With Pediatric Association of Nigeria, we had a presentation. And in Accra, Ghana, just I think that was last month or so, we had 8 presentations. And that's to tell us we can do great things. When we presented the participants at the West African College of Surgeons, I spoke to the LOC and others. Say, you know, John, we don't have the student wing. I said, well, this is time to start. After the presentation of our students, the tide has changed. The college is already thinking seriously. Later in April, we'll be meeting, and I know that is a major issue. They've been calling me, look, guy, you're right. We need to do something. And that is to tell you, you have the hero in you. You don't have to be afraid of what you are. And dear saints of God, I want to thank you for your willingness to be mentored, your determination and acceptance to take medical education to a different level. In 2025, January, I was in South Africa and was discussing with the chairman of CONSAMS, and he was asking me, how is that possible? I told him it's possible. And when he met our students in Mombasa and he saw the advert for this program, they all are convinced that it's possible. I know some are watching the streaming of this program, and by God's grace, from Babcock, we're going to change medical education, not only in Africa, but globally. Yesterday, I was with some medical students from the University of Texas, And by September, some of them will be here. And I'm bringing what we call the flip scope. The flip scope is like a paper like this, and it has a lens that can magnify up to 140. They come into Nigeria to demonstrate that, look, for the diagnosis of schistosomiasis and sickle cell, you don't need all the big gadgets. You just get your slide, put it into the flip scope, and then you look into it, and you'll be able to find solution. You don't need a big technology. And this is led by medical students. And that tells me, with you, the hope for Nigeria is great. And why should it be now? In March 28, 1999, I was a 400-level medical student, no thanks to the strike. And my wife had just delivered our second baby, and we're in the labor ward. The resident then, Professor Ajeni Fuja, now, was there, and he insisted the house officer must do the epi repair. And the house officer was shaking, and he couldn't articulate himself, and he was cutting the sutures anyhow. He couldn't really finish it. When he was taking the third suture, I had to tell the registrar then, I said, look, sir, can I repair it myself? He said, no, let him do it. I know you can do it, but let him do it. And I'm telling you, there are many things we all can do if only we put ourselves to it. In our society, the doctor is next to God. Therefore, medicine today is no longer practiced solely at the bedside. It has to be holistic. It is not confined to the laboratory. The modern physician must function at the intersection of clinical competence, research literacy, innovation, and compassionate care. If any of this is missing, you fall short of caring for your client adequately. The landscape in medicine is changing very rapidly. During my medical training at Great Ife, Africa's most beautiful campus, when we talk about MRI, CT scan, it looks like a mirage. It's not available in many institutions. But now, we have it everywhere. Even here, we have. I remember before this 1.5 Tesla, we had 2.35 Teslas that we gave away. And we have the CT scan 160 slide, the second in Nigeria as of when we got it. Now is one of the 5 that we have functioning in the country. But then it goes beyond that. Several forces are reshaping and transforming medical practice, which you have to be conscious about. And you have to be decided what side of the divide you're going to be if you're really going to be an effective physician. Number 1, rapid advances in biomedical sciences. A good example is the mRNA vaccine for COVID. Before, you take donkey years in going phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, before you say, okay, let everybody be taking it. But in less than 6 months, we had the mRNA because a lot of things are changing. I'm an ethnopharmacist by research, and one of the work we're doing is giving us the formula for anticycline, a little bit different from Nicosan, which is reverse cycline. And in the initial phase of the work, we were doing animal studies. But now, I don't need to do animal studies that much. Why? We have simulators. I put it in, and then it gives me all I'm expecting. So things are changing. Artificial intelligence, digital health technology. Now, if I have a complex case here, I don't need to worry myself. I can link up with my colleagues anywhere in the world, and I can have robotic intervention. Precision medicine and genomics that we've seen in nanomedicine, global health challenges such as in pandemic, and evidence-based clinical practice. So we have to be very well conversant with this if you are going to make a difference. The question is, why clinical skills still matters? Why? A few years ago, a patient came to me at the accident and emergency. He presented with cough, catarrh, and fever of 3 days duration. And of course, when you are talking cough, catarrh, fever, what comes to your mind? Anyone? Huh? Cough, catarrh, fever. What comes to your mind? The provost is hearing you. When you talk about cough, catarrh, fever, what comes to your mind? Upper respiratory tract. Upper respiratory tract. You get it? And I said, okay, go and do this investigation and I'll bring them. But in the meantime, oh, take Lorantadine, take this, take that. And I felt good. But the guy came back 2 days while we were waiting for the results, and it was worse. And he said, look, I'm not getting better. So I asked him a simple question. Has this happened to you before? And he said, yes. So I asked him, what was done for you to go? Do you know the answer? He said, they gave me chloroquine. And I was like, excuse me, cough, catarrh, fever, chloroquine. How? How? But you see, I didn't argue with him. Because for you to be a successful physician, you must learn how to listen. Because everyone is peculiar, is special. So I went straight to the pharmacist and said, look, do we have chloroquine? We rarely use chloroquine these days. He said, yes, we have one dose. You get it? The 221. I said, give me. And then I gave to this guy. You know, the following day, he was bouncing and he was very happy. He came to thank me. Then asked me, what have I done? I've only listened to the patient. I've only listened. And that is the reason why when we are talking about clinical skill, it is very, very important you take note of the 3 pillars. History taking. MRI will not replace that. Physical examination. Palpate, percuss, auscultate. No one can take that from you. For those of you who have read Diary of the CEO by Steve Bennett, he says, look, there are 5 baskets. But the first 2 is very important, and nobody can take it away from you. They can take away your network, they can take away your influence, they can take away your resources, but no one can take away your knowledge from you. And secondly, nobody can take away your skill. So that is the reason why you must soil your hand and develop your skill more. It will stand for you when the ancillary investigations fail. The role of research in clinical excellence. Research is often perceived by medical students as an additional burden. I remember most of the time when we give you that assignment, Dr. So don't come home. You understand? But it's not. Sometimes we separate it from our clinical work, but it's not separated, and it cannot be separated. It's a great error when we do that. Why? Because what you are seeing today will change tomorrow. Let me give you a good example. When I was in my residency program, the protocol in our unit, if someone is bleeding, you give your tranexamic acid, you make sure you do your bimanual, and you give blood and on. We've done all this. And this woman was just pouring. I've gone to the lab, even though they didn't have so much blood, but because of relationship, they gave me 2 pints. And I put in these 2 pints, and it was pouring. And I didn't know what to do. I called my boss, and he said, how far are you going? I said, sir, we are doing something, but this woman is pouring. And then the line went off. I was in a dilemma. Based on some studies earlier on, I've heard of triamcinolone. And I didn't know what I'm going to do. So, but it's not yet in our protocol. It enhances platelet activity. So when I found myself in the sea, I gave this medication, but I dare not present myself at the morning review. But to the glory of God, based on that study that I've seen, I found out that the bleeding just stopped. And it was presented in the morning that, look, we had this challenge, and we are almost losing this woman, and we gave this medication, and it stopped. From then, that medication became part of our formulary. Originally, it was not. That's the reason why when you do your research and your studies, many things that we've not been doing before, we begin to do. So you cannot remove research from your practice and from your learning. So research teaches medical students several critical competencies. Number one, analytical thinking. That is the reason why John C. Maxwell will say great leaders ask good questions. You are giving artemisinin for malaria. Why? Why? For someone who has constipation, you're saying he should take liquid paraffin. Why? Never cease asking why. Because that will enhance your analytical thinking. Number two, evidence appraiser. So yes, you should give the injection in the upper outer quadrant. What is the evidence? What is the evidence? You must ask. Scientific writing, problem solving, and innovation. What we think was good enough yesterday might no longer be good enough today. So, research teaches intellectual humility, without which you cannot excel. Then let's come back to the reality, the challenge of academic workload. I know how the workload can be. We've given you only 2 weeks holiday in the year. 50 weeks you are here, except when you finish a major exam. That's the way the curriculum is. But despite all this, you must take note. Despite the lectures, the word round, the clinical postings, the continuous assessment, the professional examination, adding research and clinical skill mastery to this schedule is unavoidable. Why? Because you need to be able to apply yourself to every situation that you find yourself. So how then do we solve it? I tell all my research mentees, just separate 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day to work on your research, to learn something different. Take it as a break from your usual. And before you know it, by the end of the month, you'll be surprised what you will have achieved. It is very, very, very expedient. Let's look at practical strategies of enhancing clinical skill acquisition. And I would like to use my own personal example. I resumed here in Babcock November 14, 2002, 4 hours after I dropped my pen in my final exam. And by 8 p.m., I started work here. How is that possible? I must tell you, by the time I got in here, I met a small 15-bedded hospital with a vote of no confidence hanging around its neck. Many were not coming. And then I had to call together the workmen. A few of them are still around. That look, we can turn things around. We can make the difference. And they agreed with me, and they started giving 5% of their meager income. The university wasn't paying their salary then. It was Adventist Health Services, and it was what they earn, they have to live by. And with that small seed, we started that building you call the medical ward. But that was possible because some people had invested in me. And I must say proudly, Dr. Greg Saunders. He introduced me to surgery at 200 level. And I must confess, I fainted during my first surgery. And initially, they packed me to a side. About 5-10 minutes, I woke up, and we continued the surgery. And then I must also remember Dr. Mark Ranzinger. Ranzinger taught me hospital administration, clinical operations, patient care, and medical mission. Mark Ranzinger was so busy that he had to be eating on the road to meet up as much as he can. Myself and Dr. Yetunde Oke went in there at our 500 level just to gain clinical skills. And he observed that we've learned enough. 80% of the patients on the ward were admitted by us. And I would love surgery, so most of the time when there's going to be surgery, I'm always there. And he decided we need to be paid. So he paid us 100 naira per hour. And at the end of the month, we were earning more than the medical officers. Some of them are in this hospital. They can tell you the story. So, by the time the strike went off, when I returned back to school, my professors who had been bringing patients to SDA hospital because of the strike knew that I've acquired some little skill. And so they would get me to consult with them, and they were teaching me much more. Because I was making their job easier, they were making my path straighter. And that's what happens. So when we are talking about enhancing clinical acquisition skills, you need to soil your hand from now. My final exam in surgery was on varicose vein. Usually this is not part of the curriculum for undergraduate medicine. But we didn't have enough patients. So the patient that was giving me was varicose vein. And I had two veterans with me, Professor Adesukami and Agbakuru. And they were arguing between them, said, no, you can't give an undergraduate this. The other one said, these guys are good. Give them. Finally, they agreed. Let him just try small, we'll pass him. Luckily for me, about 2 years earlier, I was with Dr. Fadiran. Dr. Fadiran was one of those who pioneered renal transplant at St. Nicholas Hospital in Lagos. Before he used to be a general surgeon with us at Ife. His clinics are on Friday in the afternoon, and his surgery was on Monday in the morning. And you know what happened to medical students? Friday, you are gone. Monday, you are just coming back. So because I was the only one with him, he taught me everything, the Trendelenburg sign, the leg raising, everything about varicose vein. So when I got to the exam, that was what I was giving. I was just smiling. So when I was displaying all that Dr. Fadiran had taught me, Agbakuru was telling Adeko, I told you these children are good, but what is the goodness about it? It's because somebody has shown me. And that is the reason why to acquire a lot of clinical skill, make yourself available. Exert yourself. To be able to do this, I suggest the following. Number one, we need to have more structured clinical skill lab. We have a lab there. You might underrate that lab. Many institutions don't have what you have. I've been part of accreditation all over. And you have the opportunity that when you need that place, it is available. We've gone to several institutions that even though they have little things, it's not available. So get in there and get your hand, soiled with the skills there. Most of what you used yesterday had been in that lab. Had been there. So make sure you exert yourself. The suturing skills that was displayed yesterday, go back and learn much more. The CPR, go back and learn more. You have the obstetric model. Use it and exert yourself. Number two, peer-to-peer clinical training. That is very, very expedient. If you look at our research team, we have the seniors. They mentor the younger ones. And then as we are getting new people, the younger ones now have become seniors. And they are mentoring other people. And they've not limited only to this institution. Yesterday, I was with another group, one from University of Uyo, another one from Olabisi Onabanjo, 3 from here. And they continue to increase. You get it? That's the way to go by. Number 3, micro-skill training. Don't grab everything at the same time. It's going to be cumbersome. Extend your knowledge by just an inch. And when you are done with that, go again an inch. When you are done with that, go again an inch. Like for instance, if you are looking at obstetrics, master the abdominal palpation. When you've mastered that, go to the fetal health monitoring. When you've mastered that, go to cervical assessment. You understand? So that you are increasing on a cumulative basis. Number 4, case-based learning. Especially the things you see around. I don't know if you've observed in most of your assessment, common things occur commonly. They are the things you are seeing that you'll be asked. It is very, very important. So when you see a thing, go read about it. Master the differential diagnosis. And then improve your skill in that line. Lastly, keep clinical skill logbook. Some of you will say, hey, what did you write? What did you write? Let me write it also. No. Master it before you write. Because when you keep that log, it's a form of accountability. Usually when we were training, you must take 20 deliveries. If you don't take 20 deliveries, you're going nowhere. It's very, very expedient, because when you have that and you document, it helps you know where you are presently and what other things need to be done. It's very expedient. So practical strategies for integrating research into medical training, because this is very, very important. Some of this we've already started here. Number one is early introduction to research. In the implementation of the CCMAS, we introduce some courses to further accentuate research. That's why from 200 level, when you get to community medicine, they will teach you very well about research. It's a course on its own. And by 300 level, you get to systematic review and meta-analysis. It is deliberate, it's intentional. So that by the time you are done with those courses, you begin to do them. Number two, we have student research clusters such as we have in Buams. Number three, we integrate research with clinical postings. This has been done very well in medical microbiology, so that by the time you are rounding up your posting in medical microbiology, you have already been part of one research or the other. Community medicine, that is statutory, everyone got to do it. And then in O&G, some of this is being done. Then you talk about such project, research projects. And this you can organize among yourselves. You get it? I have some of you that are already doing something on suicidal ideation, depression, name it. And now we are beginning to talk about arrhythmia, because the leading cause of death of cardiac origin is arrhythmias. And lastly, research mentorship program. Effective mentorship should include guidance in topic selection, which is where most of the challenges start from, supervision of methodology, feedback on manuscript writing, and encouragement for conference presentation. The last point I'm going to delve in before we start rounding up is building a culture of mentorship. As you go around, you have people around you, your lecturers, your seniors, that are doing things you like. Walk up to them and say, look, teach me. Learn to stand on the shoulder of giants. If you want to start all by yourself, some of them, it has taken them 10, 15 years to get to where they are. And if you add 10, 15 years to it, those who stand on the shoulders of giants will have gone way ahead of you. So learn to use the mentors that you have. Learn from them and move forward. The good mentor will do three things for you. Number one, they will inspire vision. Because where there is no vision, the people perish. Sometimes we feel it's impossible. Impossibility does not exist, but in the mind of the person that thinks it's impossible. Number two, they provide you opportunities, because they know where the opportunities are. And they tell you, oh, why not go this way? Why not go this way? And then you get it. And number three, they offer you constructive feedback. When you are messing up, they are able to tell you, guy, you are messing up. Why not change this? Or else you'll have gone too far, expended so much energy before you realize that you are messing up. So you need this. And when we do that, it's going to really, really help us. So, to balance academics, clinical skills with research, we must adopt strategic time management. Because everybody still has just 24 hours. And to be able to do this, what do you need to do? I recommend this. Number one, set weekly academic goals. I do that also for myself. My week started yesterday, and I have quite a number of things to do. In the ethno-pharmaceutical space, there's a report I need to give, and I had to go round and get that done yesterday. Then I need to articulate my presentation here and the PowerPoint. And beyond that, there's a grant proposal on clinical decision support tools that is going to involve quite some states in the nation that I'm working on. And by 20th, it must be submitted. I need to make some consultation with the Commissioner of Health in Ondo State and also the representative of the Director of Health Services in Abuja. You know, so I set the time. And I also had a meeting with the University of Texas medical student. So everything, you set your weekly goals. You get it? It's very, very important. If you don't plan, then you fail. Number 2, allocate fixed study blocks. I'm going to study this at this time. It's very important, or else you'll be carried away by many things. Participate in collaborative learning groups. In medicine, you will never walk alone. For you to be successful in medicine, you have to be a Liverpool fan. That is a reality. You will never walk alone. Time will not permit me to give you my personal experience. When we were doing our second MB, first MB, our exam got leaked, and the boys refused to do it. And so they reset the exam. Rather than 8 questions, we were given 12 questions. But the night before, with my study partner, oh yeah, you bring 1 question, you bring 1 question. On the long run, we bought 12. And we studied and mastered these 12. When we got to the exam hall, that's what we met. The beauty of collaborative work. When you look at some of the work we're able to do, even among the student research group, Mombasa wouldn't have been possible without the support of Toby, Owolabi, and others. Everyone worked together. No man is an island. The greatest you can be is a peninsula. Number 4, use digital productive tools. You have a lot of this. And thank God the college is already working on using medical education management system. And in there, yes, you have the resource material. You just throw it into the chat box there and say, look, give me possible questions. You have the mild, you have the moderate, you have the severe level. You get it? And then it will give you. You practice it. And when you practice it, it increases your competence. You're using the digital tools. And lastly, protect time for rest and wellness. You are very lucky we have the Sabbath here. It's not the time to come and read anatomy or obstetrics and gynecology. No. Put your books aside. Rest, pray, sleep. You get it? Time will not permit me to tell you the science of that. If you have 7 working days a week, your productivity will be horrible. But learn to have 6 working days and have adequate rest, and it's going to be good for you. And that's why we say with the old men, all works and no play make Jack a... Because burnout will occur, and this reduces learning efficiency. A healthy mind learns faster and performs better. I need to also remind you that in doing this, you must be ethical and compassionate. Very, very, very important. If you do not go by ethics, it becomes a big challenge. Each patient is not a case, but a person. So you must learn and demonstrate compassion, integrity, respect for patient dignity, and commitment to ethical practice. Research without ethics is dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And you need to watch it. And clinical skills without compassion is incomplete. That is the reason why sometimes you see people recommend, go and do MRI. Before that result is like, go and do another MRI. How much is E&U creatinine? 14,000. How much is the minimum wage? So when you write some of these things without compassion, watch it. You might do greater harm. There is can we have the PowerPoint, please? There is something I got on social media. On social media, it has a picture. And, Can you read this? 1 to go. So go up, that's Antrim. I want you to read it. 1 to go. That is what happens when you are a doctor without compassion. Your fuel price will increase by more than 50% in less than 3 weeks. How true is this? I might not be able to say now, but this we saw. So if you don't uphold ethics in your practice, it's going to be a disaster. So as we round up, faith and purpose is very, very expedient in medicine. Medicine is a calling and not just a profession. If you remember in 2 Kings chapter 2, Elisha was told that, Elijah will be taken away from you. So don't worry following him. He didn't mind. He continued to follow him. And Elijah will tell him, the Lord sent me to Jericho. And say, Master, I will follow you. And when he got to Jericho, he said, the Lord said I should go to Bethel. He said, I will follow you. And when he got there, he said, well, the Lord said I should go to Jordan. I will follow you. He continued to follow. Why? Is a calling. Is a calling. Continue to follow. And then when finally they crossed the Jordan, he said, look, now ask me what you want. He said, look, give me the double portion of your power. When you keep following, then you can get from your masters the skills that is not in the textbooks. One of those masters I was opportune to train under was Baba Fakoya of blessed memory. In his days, there was nothing like magnesium sulfate, but they had Epsom salt. Baba Fakoya, when he had a clamtic patient, he didn't want his patient to die, and he didn't have magnesium sulfate. He would get a spoon and put sterile water on the spoon, and then put in Epsom salt and put it over the flame. And then it will dissolve. And we withdraw it and give it IM. And his patients were living. All others that don't have native intelligence and they were blowing big English, their patients were dying. But his own patient was living. So it is very important that we have faith in the Lord and we are committed. With that, we'll be able to get a lot of skill. By the mercies of the living God, I see here sitting before me those who will be greater than me. As I always tell you, you are not allowed to be less than me. And if you want to know my value, what should you do? What should you do if you want to know my level and my value? Ask Google. He will tell you what my value is. I see in you great men and women that will change the trajectory of learning and medical practice, not only in Nigeria, but in the whole of Africa. But in rounding up, for you to be able to achieve this, keep these 5 nuggets in your mind. Number 1, master the patient encounter. Recently, we had a lady we had to do a TAH for. And this lady we always call at every time. I have the habit of giving my patient my number. It can be inconveniencing, but it's okay by me because I'd rather be inconvenienced than for my patient to have a negative outcome. And this woman will keep calling. I'll answer her. And then I got to the clinic, and my resident told me, this lady too have been calling. I said, my doctor, what do you think is the problem of the woman? I said, yes, she's having this bleeding. She's having problem with her hormone level. I said, no, that is not our problem. I said, do you know our problem? He said, no, this woman is lonely. She needed attention. The husband is in the riverine. The children are all in boarding school. There is no one with her. So any small cockroach, she needs to call somebody, or else she begins to go gagas. And by the time she came back to the clinic, I raised the issue in the presence of my doctor, and she confirmed that truly she needed a mental health support. And after we attended to her, everything resolved without having to give psychotic medication. Number 2, cultivate scientific curiosity. Never take anything and everything hook, line, and sinker. Ask why. Number 3, seek mentors who challenge and inspire you, who will lead you to the greater level than you've achieved. Number 4, collaborate rather than compete destructively. Collaborate together. You get it? Whatever is yours can never be taken away from you. Lastly, never lose compassion for the patient. Please, your patient is not a case. Never lose compassion. From your patient, you even get the idea of your next research. And sometimes they'll be the one to surprise you with the solution. What we've discovered now as a novel solution to sickle cell crisis was actually given by patients. There's some anti-neoplastic agent we're working on. It was given by patients from your body. So when you learn to treat your patient as a human being, you'll be surprised what God will do for you. Thank you for your attention.
Please keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping. I don't know about you, but me personally, I learned a lot from Professor Pastor John Obafemi Shooting, sir. So for those of us that quickly stepped out again, I'll just give a very brief recap of every single thing he said. Number one, a very great Greek philosopher said something. He said we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So we can listen 2 times and speak what? Once. He had a patient and he was busy kabashing in tongues saying upper respiratory tract infection. All he needed to do was to just what? Listen. So number 1 lesson for today for everybody seated here right now is please listen. Starting from now in this conference, listen. Number 2, he made mention of something. He said, learn to stand on the shoulders of what? Giants. He doesn't say stand on the shoulders of dwarfs. So. You need to stand on the shoulders of somebody that is the same height as you. He said, stand on shoulders of who? Giants. It means the person you are looking up to, the person you are saying, yes, I want this person to be my mentor. But be somebody who has gone what? Years ahead of you. So in choosing a mentor, please choose somebody who is what? A giant. Lastly, it has made me realize today that a lot of us are in this profession for money. Today, we are taking something out of this conference. Put money behind you. Medicine is a calling. And realizing that medicine is a calling, you also agree with me that you need a lot of compassion. Nigeria is already harsh on everybody. Please, I beg everybody seated here today, tell your friends, tell your enemies, don't be the extra force that will break your patience. Have compassion. And having compassion, in standing on shoulders of giants, in listening twice and speaking once, don't forget to be curious. Once again, a round of applause for Professor John Schutz, sir. So in our midst today, we are privileged to have the head of department of medical laboratory science, in person of Professor Esther Ngozi Adejumo. Please a round of applause for her. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much. So as a department, let's say, thank you, Ma. And to Professor Shutunsa, let's say, thank you, Daddy. And to our loving provost in our midst, say thank you, Ma. And to representatives of the VC in person of Professor Awodele, say thank you very, 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 very much, sir.